Hey guys, it's Miss Mel. I'm going to show you a fun game that you can play at home with your kids called Sink and Float. There's different objects you can get from around the house that you can play with them with that you think will sink or float, and put them in water and test it to see what it does. I right here I have an example of some objects, and then we're going to test them to see whether they will sink or float. I have a sponge, there's a rock, there's a cup, there's a penny, and there's a ball over there. So let's test them and see whether they sink or float. So let's get started. So we can test the first item out, which is the sponge. Move it down some. Whoa. So if you guessed that sponge was floating, then you are right. And then parents, what you can do is you can have this tally, and then I have right here, which is an F for float. So I'm going to put the F right here under float. Next, I'm going to test a rock. I'm going to move this. I'm going to put the rock in. Do you see the rock, guys? Do you think it's floating where it stays at the top of the water, or sinking where it stays at the bottom? If you guess sinking, then you are right. So now we know that the rocks sink. So we're going to put an S where sink is. There you go. Next, we are going to test the cup. So I have one here. Let's put it on. Ooh, there's the cup, guys. Is it sinking or floating? If you guess floating, then you are right. So we're going to put a blue F under float where the cup is. And then next we're going to test a penny. And here's the penny, guys. I'm going to drop it in. Do you see it? Is it floating like the cup or the sponge staying at the top of the water? Or is it sinking with the rock? If you guess sinking, then you are right. The penny sinks. So we're going to put S over here where the penny is. Next, we're going to test the ball. So I have another one here, guys, and I'm going to drop it in. What's the ball doing? Is it sinking or floating? Looks like it's staying on the top, so that means it's floating. So I'm going to put an F over here for floating. And then, guys, you can test this all kinds of ways. Our kids in pre-K, when I was doing this experiment with them, they said, well, what if you add rocks into a bottle and see what happens? Or you can add all types of things inside of a bottle. If you want me to, I'll put this bottle in that doesn't have the rocks in it. It floats. Well, let's try the bottle that does have the rocks in it and see what it does. Let's see. Well, that one's still floating, but the more weight you put on it, it will sink to the bottom. Um, I don't think I have enough rocks in there for it to sink, but yesterday it did sink when we added some rocks in it. So this is another fun activity you can do at home with your kids, parents, and then you can also, it's science, but you can also add some math in there by having them. You can count, saying, "Hey, which did more sink or did more objects float?" Let's count them. How many sank? One, two. So we know we have two that sank, and then how many floated? One, two, three. So which one has more? The ones that floated has more. So guys, I hope you like this little um, science experiment. Like I said, you can get some math in there too. Um, so enjoy. Kids probably would love to do this inside of the bathtub, putting things in there when they're taking a bath to see if it sinks or float. Until next time, bye guys.